Cloud. There you go. It's official now, guys. So be careful what you say. Well, thanks guys for attending tonight. This is kind of just a Q&A session where it's very low key. It's hopefully open for discussion so that people who have questions can fire them away as we go. Maybe we'll cover them, and we may not cover your questions. So don't be shy. There's no silly question. And if there is, we'll just talk about you behind your back. Don't worry. But we're here today. This is MPPA. And there's so many different elements to our organization. And a lot of times as a new member, you don't really figure out what those perks are until like you're 3-4 years in. So the goal is today is to record this for new members, and hopefully they can go back and watch this in archive and get up to speed on some of the benefits of being an MPPA member sooner than later. So we thought it would be a great idea to invite Crystal Reynolds here. And Crystal Reynolds has held almost every title and every position that you could hold in MPPA. I don't think you've ever been treasurer, have you?
That's the only thing on the board I haven't been.
Because you're smart enough not to do that role.
I do not math.
Yes, but she has been on the board. She's been vice president. She's been a president. She's been on the scholarship committee. She's on the award and recognition committee, which is in part why we asked her to do this today, because we figured she's done it all and she's actively involved in the award ceremony at our annual banquet. So a lot of people, they see people get up there, they're getting lobster pins, they're getting these cool little things here on ribbons, like, oh, what is this thing? And oh, there's a purple one too. What is that? So we thought it'd be kind of cool to walk through what those are, how to get them, where to find it on the website. That way you don't lose time trying to do it as well. We want you to enjoy banquet and our organization as much as possible. So I'm going to ask basically questions to Crystal. And again, if you guys get lost or confused along the way, then do not hesitate to pause, unmute yourself, and ask a question. And we hopefully will do the best to explain that for you. I'm assuming if you are here, you know what MPPA is. If not, well, then how did you get here? So we'll excuse those questions and just assume you know the bare bones. And we'll start getting you past the next step now, which is explaining basically what these degrees or awards are we have and that we offer with Maine PPA. And Crystal, I know we have a website for that, so I'm not sure if you want to share your screen while we dive into that first part, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about the awards, and then we'll hop backwards and talk about how to record your information and your achievements throughout the years to get the award. But first, let's talk about them. So why don't you share your information about what these great things are, Crystal?
Sure. Yeah, I always think a visual is the best way to learn. So let me see. Which one? I think I want that one. All right. Can you see that?
We can.
You're with me on the website. This is the homepage of the mainppa.com website, where you're going to find the information for the awards and recognition program is right here on the main page. Can you see my cursor as well?
We can.
Okay, perfect. So right here, it says submit your annual points for awards and recognition. That has been on the homepage for quite a while, but if it ever does disappear, the easiest way to get to this information is to sign in. Up at the top, you want to sign in with the login that you created when you joined. And that will give this part of our menu access. So this will disappear if you are not logged in. But once you are logged in and you see your name up at the top, you just click on members area. This is our super secret page. And then MPPA award and recognition program is right here.
Crystal, I did actually put that public under the education as well, just the award and recognition program.
Yep.
So
Yep, that's good.
also right there as well, if people are wondering where it's located as well. So
good to know. All right, so here is a brief description. We started this program in 2009, or rather Claudia Marie did with Trish Logan. They did it for quite a while, and I took over probably, I'm gonna say, right after I was president, so probably 2017-ish. So 5 or 6 years. It has been my baby. So there are several awards. There is the Maine Photographic Excellence Award. This requires participation in print competition. And that is the green medallion that you see here in this picture. And there is the Maine Fellowship Award, which requires participation in membership, education. You can earn points in various ways, and we'll go over that as well. But that is this purple ribbon with the pewter medallion.
Great. And you said the green one is the Maine Photographic Excellence Award. And the only way to
Correct.
get that is you need to, of course, accrue points, but you have to compete in image competition to get that, correct? So
Yes.
if you
Yeah.
don't compete, you can get the purple, which is service award, stuff like that. But if you want this one, you have to actually compete in the image competition, which we hold annually.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep, that's the main purpose of that one.
Perfect.
To recognize all of your print excellence. There are bars. So once you've earned your medallion, you can still accrue points to go towards these awards again. So once you've had another 25 points, you will get a little bar to slide onto your ribbon, which is kind of neat. So I have 3 bars on my purple fellowship medallion because I've been in the service and doing a lot of things behind the scenes for quite some time. But
And
it's really not that hard. What's that?
I said Tim's showing off his too. And Nick, you need to show yours.
Yeah.
off. You have a few of them too. So
Yes, I only have 1 bar. I think I have 1 more somewhere, but I've got 1 bar handy right now. So
okay.
All
great.
right.
So those, and we'll go into do a deeper dive on those right in a second here.
Yep, we
Okay,
will.
great.
Yep.
And what is this Maine
the-
Distinguished Colleague Award?
The Maine Distinguished Colleague is a little bit different because it highly depends on you, the members, to nominate a colleague who you feel is well deserving of this reward. Those who have served with the MPPA have been your mentor, given their time and their knowledge. Anything that you feel that they deserve this very special, prestigious award. And that is not pictured here because I have not yet taken a nice picture of it, but we'll have one soon. That is a silver or
Tim, you want to
gray
show it again?
ribbon. Yeah, Tim, do you have
Tim,
yours?
flash it up. There it is.
Nice. Nice. Yeah.
I'm wearing mine too, but we can't share the screen and see me at the same time, I don't think. Unless you can see me.
We can. If you have the right view,
Okay.
you can see both.
Yeah. There you go.
This is my
There it is.
distinguished colleague.
Yeah.
It's backwards, but you get the idea.
We get the idea.
So it's a bronze medal on a silver cord.
Great. And that's a nomination
Um,
process, you said. I think our last
yes.
one to receive that was Trish Logan.
Yep, this
Right.
past convention, Trish was honored with that award. We wish she had been there at convention, but we did give that to her.
And the year before, I believe, was Mr. Tim Byrne.
Mhm. I have a list of them up here. So right here on this page, this is our distinguished colleague nomination form, which you can find right at the bottom of where we were. I can't see past there we go. So right at the bottom here of this information, it has this link to that nomination form.
Yep.
So you click right in there, and these are all of our past recipients except for Trish, who we have not added yet.
And which you'll notice on people that they do skip years sometimes, because if there's no nominations, then there's no award to be given. So
Correct.
if you feel drawn to nominate somebody, you definitely put into the system here, and then the board looks at that and we basically vote on that internally. But it's an opportunity that we don't want to see missed, but there needs to be nominations for us to give the award. So if someone's like, if someone really helped, made a difference in your either personal or professional career while being a member of MPPA, make sure you nominate. Like even Ken Wilson here, he is a ACI vendor, and he won the award, and he was here that year and we gave it to him. But like, it's basically anybody in our community that really just moves us forward as a collective body. Just don't be shy. We need more nominations out there. We have some great members that we need to recognize.
We do. We certainly do. Are there any questions about distinguished colleagues so far? Nope.
All
Okay.
right,
Well, if
then
you
let's talk.
do
Let's
think of
talk about. Oh, go
something,
ahead.
if you do think of something throughout this whole program here, just speak up and we'll answer that for you. Don't feel like you can't interrupt us.
All right, now
All
let's
right,
talk about those beautiful lobster pins that people love to collect.
These lobster pins. So as you can see on mine, I haven't counted them in a while. That's one side. Here's the other side. I know Mr. Tim has a whole bunch too. Oh, it got stuck in my earring. So these lobster pins are the easiest thing you can earn ever. All it takes is for you to just tell me at the end of the year when we announce that it's time to submit your points. Down at the bottom of this page is our lovely form that you just fill out, and it kind of walks you through it. I can do a sample one with you guys here tonight if you need me to.
I think that's a great idea, because it does get confusing when you're dipping down there and where certain points go. So.
And if you have any notes of something that is confusing that might need a tweak, I am happy to do that as well. So our lobster pins only require 12 points. So instead of 25 points for one of the medallions that take at least 2 or 3 years minimum to achieve, because those points accrue every year. So I add up all your points and then add to it the next year and the next year until you have enough in each category for those medallions. But the lobster pin, you can earn one every single year. And all you have to do is submit your points, number one. Number two, be a member of the MPPA. That's 1 point just by itself. And then attend education. If we have a program every month, that's 12 months plus your membership point. You have a minimum of 13 points and you have your lobster pin at the end of the year. Easy peasy. There's another whole bunch of points you can get, but that's the easiest way.
For people who can't attend the banquet, how do they get these? If they have accrued the points, how is it distributed after that?
So we announce all the winners, the recipients at the banquet. And if you are not there, I just reach out to you. And mail them to you. I put them in a bubble wrapper, or we can meet up for lunch if you want to get together. However you would like to receive those, and I just make sure you get those.
Awesome. Now, I know it's always a competition every year on who gets the most lobster pins. So do you want to talk about the benefit of being top dog of the year?
That's my favorite part. We get a giant, it's probably 6 or 8 inches, a very big chocolate lobster. So in addition to your lobster pin, you get that prize if you've gotten more points than any other member that year.
Yeah, it's always a competition. Usually the president, because they attend most things, usually ends up being the one on the top, but it's not the case every year. So it does fluctuate. So.
And sometimes those board members who do a lot of work just simply forget to tell me what they earned.
I got on them, Crystal. I said, hey guys, some people didn't submit their points. So I think it's important to note too that you get points for volunteering. So even if you serve on a program committee or any form of volunteering, even if you just have your studio host a workshop, you don't even have to teach a workshop, you get a point. So things like that, like she's going to go over it in our points register, all the ways that you can earn points. But there's so many ways to earn points. Like by the time I tallied up mine, I ended up getting the lobster pin, and I'm not even president. So I mean the lobster chocolate lobster.
One. Yeah, the
big guy. So
was it good?
I only had a little bit of it. My son ate most of it. So I opened it up and I'm like, what the heck? So, but he's 7 and I forgave him. So, but there's so many ways to earn that. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to have this meeting, is because there's just so many ways, and just kind of walking everyone through that. So I'll let Crystal take over now.
Well, and when you're when you're a new member, you're like, oh, all these cool lobster pins, and really we make it so easy to get a lobster pin. I mean, as Rebecca said, and Crystal will show, there's so many different things you can do. We are so creative in the way you can get points that really with little effort you can get one. But the goal is to get you as involved as possible, because we want to create a community And then we want to reward the people who put in the most, which is why these excellent and fellowship are there. It's because those are the people who really are the pushers of the association that really help move us forward collectively. And we want to reward them as well. But you have a busy life,
Absolutely.
you at least want to get that lobster, like that little lobster pin that everyone like. And now I know you may hop around different states and you may go to Imogen, and there is a different lobster pin out there, not to be confused with this pin. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Just a little bit, because most of us will probably never get that pin, but
Well, that is still a possibility.
still a possibility.
Every year at convention, all of our convention speakers and our judges get their very own lobster pin. And it says Maine next to it, so it's very different from our membership lobster pins. But it's essentially the same lobster, it just says Maine on the banner, so they can remember where they earned that. And we've just this past year decided to give those speakers who want to come back and teach us again a moose pin. And those are super cute. So not only will they get a lobster, they can also earn a moose pin
And
when they come and teach us.
Just to continue on that, if you're not familiar with like the educational circuit of like PPA, like we are sometimes able to get some amazing speakers who come here just because they want the coveted lobster pin. Like they will go out of their way and they'll do it at a reduced rate just to teach, to get that pin, because they do go around and they do collect them like merit badges. Like it's a kind of it's a badge of honor. And now
it's really fun.
And now that we have the moose pin, which is, you know, like I said, our first year was last year, like people are like, oh, now there's a reason to come back to Maine. So, and yeah, we could get it as a member. If you actually taught at convention, there's a way of getting it there. It just doesn't happen too often because usually we reach out to talent that we don't see regularly and bring them here. But anything's possible. We have some great talent.
You never know. We do. We definitely do.
All right. Now, I also want to talk about deadlines before we jump into the form here, but there's a deadline to do all this stuff by, right?
Yep, right here on the page. Right now, it is February 1st, but if we continue to have our convention later in the year, we can definitely change that. That deadline is mainly there, so we know how many pins and how many medallions we need to give at banquet. So that necessarily is not a hard deadline. It just may mean that we won't have one for you at banquet. It doesn't mean that you won't get your medallion if you've earned it. It just won't happen that night.
Great.
And speaking with that, not many people know that this form is up year round for a reason, because if you forgot to enter your points for 2022, even though convention is over, you can still submit those points, and it will go into your total tally that you can earn every year towards your medallions. So it's never too late to start giving me your points.
Great. You allow to go back 1 year for that, right? So you couldn't enter 2020 now, but you could start with the latest year we've just passed, correct?
Technically, we haven't said no to a particular year. Not many people do, because I, for one, don't have any idea what I did in 2020. But if you keep a calendar and you know how many education things you did and you were a member, you got at least those points that you can give me. So every little bit helps.
Awesome.
The place for that is right here where it says award point summary for which calendar year. If you were going to do it at the end of this year, it would be 2023, but you can always type in 2020 and give me those points for that year, and I will just put that in my spreadsheet.
I actually have gone back and did that with Crystal. The reason why is because I thought that I could only earn points for certain things. And then when I did a deep dive on the register, which she'll go over, I was like, wait, I missed out on like a ton of points. So she went back and like gave me those points for the previous years because they were service points and things like that. So it was really helpful. I'm really thankful that you did that, because I was able to get my little medallion this year. So and hopefully I have enough points to get my image one for like next year, the year after. So it doesn't hurt to submit it. If you have any questions, Crystal has been great about that. And also, just to clarify too, it's not from convention to convention, it's calendar year. So think everything that you did in like 2022. So 2023 hasn't happened yet. Like, so even though we already had a 2023 convention, 2023 convention stuff doesn't count until you submit points for the end of the year. So
Correct.
just to kind of like,
Correct.
it's like it's not, anyway, so you submit points and it just kind of gets a little confusing. So you have to think about it just calendar. So.
Yeah, and it does say that right on that form, calendar year.
Yeah.
Right. So January to
It's small
January.
print.
So,
Yeah, January to January,
Yep.
not April to April. So.
right.
Yeah.
And I know in a pain, like when I first started, it was a pain to figure out like what classes I'd attended, right? And there's a shortcut on this.
Yes,
Can we
there
go
is.
to that and show them like, oh,
Of
these are
course.
the things I've done? Like,
Of course. Yes, I will
first-
definitely do that.
my
Yep.
first 3 years,
First-
I didn't know that existed. So yeah.
Yeah. First, I want to show you our points register. Right here at the bottom of that summary is your program guidelines and personal point register. And that is a PDF that you can download. Explains all of the awards, how they're earned, with what points in which category. It explains every point you can possibly earn and how many for which. So you can have this sit on your desk all year round. And you can even put in, I earned this point on this day. I went to this program on this day, and that's this many points. So you can keep track of it if you chose to throughout the year, and it's sitting right there for you when it's time to submit your form. So that's pretty handy. And I refer to this a lot. I highly recommend if you are on the board or on a committee, those are the only points really that are not specifically mentioned in the form. It's just a broad total. And this is what you earn right here as an MPPA board member or committee member, depending on which position you are serving.
And like we mentioned
So-
before too, like if you host a class, like it says
Right.
other host to studio, you get a point
Yep.
just for offering
do.
up your space. You get a point for that.
Yep.
And also,
do.
if you want to scroll up, Crystal, too, in terms of image competition, I know sometimes as a new member, it's intimidating to submit images. If you enter 2 images and they don't even, like, they don't merit, they don't score well, you know, like it's your first time, that's okay. You still get a point.
Mhm.
So like, it's like, we're just encouraging you to participate regardless of how well you
Right.
do. It's not, it's about participation and not necessarily about performance level. You do get extra points
Correct.
if you do merit, but it's just nice to know, hey, I got a participation point. So I'm like, I participated and I got some credit for that. So yeah.
I myself am lacking in the participation in photo competition myself.
Hey,
So
only
I
did it
know
for
how
the
that
first time last
feels.
year. First time
just
last year.
couldn't- My
Yeah.
problem is always waiting to the last second, and then I'm like, I got nothing.
But the biggest
I just have
challenge
to set the time for it.
the
Mhm.
biggest challenge for most people though is just to take that first step and compete, right?
Yes.
And then
Yep.
it's really like I've been a part of the association now for I think 5 or 6 years. And to watch people first dip their toe in and then watch them a year later, it becomes addicting, like, right? And then when you
Mhm.
actually take home an award, like it's like, wow, I did this over so many other entries. This title belongs to me for the year. And there's a real sense of pride. And if you haven't been to the banquet, you're really missing out on an amazing time. Like it is our own little Academy Awards that we do. There's music, there's food, there's a DJ, there's ceremony. Like it's a big to do. And it comes, you know, it's just the whole convention itself. We do an annual convention that comes with your membership. And then to go to banquet is a small fee extra for that. But even if you don't attend banquet, say you live up in Prescott and you can't make it down that day, even by competing, if you're not there, you still get these points. You can still be part of the organization, even if you can't be present. We don't exclude just because you can't show up. We're a very
Mhm.
involved group that, you know, Zoom has, like we're doing today, has
Mhm.
allowed us to do many things remotely, and we don't want to discourage people just because they can't
Mhm.
always be where we are.
Right.
So-
And Zoom programs count as an education point if you watch it. I even
so like
allow
today-
people to, like, if they watch it later, if you're watching this next week, that counts because you watched it.
Mhm.
I don't necessarily think you need to be right there on the day, because how are we going to keep track of that? It's really the honor system with what points you, because I don't know what all you guys do. I just make sure the points are in the right place. That's my job. And I
So-
use a spreadsheet, so I can't mess up on my math.
So for instance, then Crystal, just by being there today, they're tuned in here today, they get a
You
point for
got
that,
1
correct?
point.
Well, I
Yes, they
get
got 1
Okay,
point.
all you need is 11 more and you get your lobster pin.
Well, actually,
Yep,
like
and then-
10, because one for membership too.
One for
If-
membership,
if
right.
they're a
Yeah,
member,
you
if
got
they're a member,
2.
2 points.
See, we're
Yeah.
basically we're giving them away, people.
Yeah. In a
So,
perfect
how many-
world, I
how
want
many,
everybody to have one.
How
What's
many
that?
lobsters do you get for throwing axes?
Oh, that one's a point
I-
too. That's a
It's a
point
program.
because it's a
It's
program.
a meeting.
It's a meeting.
Yep.
It's a networking meeting. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what
It's
Tim's
technically
talking
in the education category, but it's still networking, so it
Yeah.
counts.
what Tim is talking about is our last meeting we did a axe throwing up in Bangor.
Mhm.
So just by going to the meet and greet, having a good time and socializing, throwing a couple axes, you get a point for that. Like it's really that easy, guys. And there's for that one, there was no fee for members. You just show up and everything is taken care of. Like I don't know if food was served because I couldn't attend that one, but like
Yeah, we fed people. There was like lots
Yeah.
of appetizers.
so you get to throw axes, eat food, and get a point all just by being a member. Hello,
And
like
having fun. It was
Yeah.
fun, right? I wish I could have gone to that one. I was so
Yeah.
bummed I couldn't.
we'll have another networking event soon. So.
Those are the best ones.
Mhm.
so anyway.
All
and-
right.
and so they know how to get to this on the website, right? So you see the
Yeah.
list there. So and we're going to revisit where some of these things fall in place when you're doing your calculations for the points, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep,
great.
definitely. So you
Make
can
a point.
print this out and put it on your desk, or you can do it digitally. Like if you have an iPad or something where you can use a pen and just write on the PDF. I do that a lot myself. So that's something that you could do as well.
Somebody was did somebody have a question? Somebody was talking a minute ago.
Yes,
I
Tim.
wanted to make a point that all this stuff is nice and you get a lobster pin or whatever. It's also something neat to hang on the wall of your studio or
Yeah.
workplace and brag about on social media, stick it in the paper, whatever. It's all about the customer perception of what we're doing
Right.
and how that work is valued within our professional association. And I think it's a good thing to
Mhm.
brag about.
Well, and to Tim's point too, like we have, and we're not going to really go over the different categories in the image comp today. That wasn't really the intention of this, but when you win those awards, you get these nice little awards that you get, your name is now on them, right? And if you have a studio space or even your living room, you can put them up there and it says, Crystal Reynolds, sports photographer of the year, 2022 or something like that. And you can just have it there and it becomes a talking piece and it kind of builds a little rapport between you and your organization and your clients see like, oh, wow, they actually compete. They really care about what they're doing.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of benefit in these little small things that you can use for your own gain in your own business. We don't want you to
Mhm.
ignore that fact because it's kind of a cool perk.
And clients pay attention whether you think so or not. I've got quite a few comments on my CPP certificate, for example, my medallions, if I have them on or out. I have my president's gavel, and I've had quite a few people go, "What's that?" I'm like, "Oh, I was on president in our photography community." They're like, "Oh, cool." Like they don't even know what this organization is, but they do pay attention to those things because it's interesting.
Mhm.
And that said too about wearing them. When you come to banquet, we strongly encourage you to
Mhm.
wear them, not just at the banquet, but if you can wear them the entire convention, just to show. And really, what it does is if for a new member looking at you, like, oh, this person's been around, they may be able to answer some questions for me. Like it just tells you, like, I've been doing this for a while, and for the most part, our membership is so kind with sharing knowledge that you can walk up to almost anybody wearing a purple or green ribbon and they will tell you a story about it and help you start your process as well. Like we don't keep things too close to our chest. We want us all to thrive in this environment.
Mhm.
All right, Crystal, go ahead.
All right, so let's walk through this point summary form for those
Do a
of you
deep
who
dive.
haven't done it before. I'm just going to do it real quick and make up numbers. So this is not actual. And I even put 2009 because that's when we started the program. All right, so image points right up top. It says a maximum number of 7 points can be used in a calendar year. That does not mean that you can't enter 15 points in this category. All that tells me is I just take however many points you got. I put 7 of them into this category on my spreadsheet, and I put the rest in the general category. And I do it this way so you don't have to, but this up here just tells you, like, if you were expecting something different, this is only how many points we're going to count in the image points. But the points still count in your total count. And I do that math for you to make it easy, because sometimes it can get confusing. And I like to see what people do too. That's the best part of my job. So we're gonna just say we entered and we got, I put 2 images in that time. Must be, oh, no, 1 point. See, it'll tell you if you're wrong. 1 point, however many you enter, 2 minimum, gives you 1 point total.
And that's just for entering. It doesn't mean anything about your
Entering.
score. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So
Yep. You can enter 2, you can enter 20. I don't know if we're still unlimited, but 1 point in that spot.
We are
If
still
you got a blue
unlimited.
ribbon, yep. If you got a new ribbon of 80 of a score, 80 or above, you can just do, I did one of those. Did you get category photographer image of the year award? We have quite a few of these category ones, like list off a few for me, guys.
Yeah, so you portrait photographer of the year, wedding photographer of the year, sports photographer of the year, artist of the year. And we've got even more, like there's
Mhm.
the landscape for nature landscape photographer of the year. So yeah, this
reportage. Yep.
Yep. reportage, and
Yep.
then there's a couple of different categories that one can win.
So that's pretty cool. So however many categories there are, you have a potential to earn that many points, depending on if you enter into that category when you submit your images. We are going to say we didn't do that. I didn't get a judge's award, but you can earn 1 point for each judge's choice award that you get. If you get best of show, you can earn 1 point for that maximum. And it does explain under each thing how many points you can earn. 1 point max, 1 point each. It tells you exactly what you can earn for each one.
And there's a lot of criteria here. So when we're done, if you have a certain question about a certain category, like what is a judge choice award? Just chime in at the end, like make a little mental note, and then we'll come back and answer that for you if you want.
Certainly. So I'm just going to go through here real quick. We didn't earn any points for any other awards. And here's where you can tell me just little notes that, like, if you had a question per se, or if you had, like, if you weren't sure, still put the points there and say, I wasn't sure about this award, and I'll adjust it for you later if I need to. But that just lets me know if there's anything of note that I need to be aware of for that category. And the forum used to do the math for you, but it doesn't anymore, because the one that did the math was very glitchy and I didn't always get them, which was a bummer. And I have no idea if I didn't get things from somebody at a certain point. So if you feel like you should have more points and should have been given a medallion at this point, reach out to me and I can tell you exactly what years you gave me a form for. Because some of them went into the cyber webs, and that's a bummer. But Google Forms has been really good the last year or so.
So you manually put down the number.
So you
at the
have
end
to
of the
go up and
page.
add. Yep.
Yep.
So we got 1, 2 points in this category, and you just put that total in the total box. If it's 0, you put 0.
Mhm.
And then hit next. It also tells you, before I click it, remember this number, like make a note that that was a number in a category, because you're going to need it on the last page too.
So write down that number 2 is what you're telling us for this one here.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So we got 2 points in the image category, and you want to remember that for the end of the form, because I don't like that it doesn't do the math for you. That was kind of nice, but it is what it is. At least I'll have these. All of them will get to me.
Yeah, I just like that
Um,
it's not glitchy. I remember you were having
Yes.
problems. It was such a bummer. So
Yeah, I wish on that note, it should send you an email confirmation when you have submitted your form. And if you don't get that email, that means contact me and make sure I've got it, one. And if I don't, then I do have to do it again. That was the old form though, and hopefully we don't have this issue, but it should still send you a summary form of what you submitted.
Right. And just to back up a second, so that first page, most of it on there is geared more towards the purple ribbon, right?
No,
The
the
green
green.
one.
Oh, sorry, the green one. I had the wrong one, the green one.
Yep, the green image, the image excellence. Yep.
And then the one we're on now, which is education, which would be
Yep.
your purple one now.
Purple ribbon.
These ones are specifically needed for the purple one. Yes.
Perfect.
Right. So education points. Again, it gives you just a total of how many you can earn in this category every year. It doesn't mean you can't put more here. You may actually put 12 in here because you went to 12 programs. That's okay. I'll separate them out later to where they need to be so you have your total number. How many photographic educational events did you attend? So this is where I give you these little helpful links because you go, it's December. I don't know what I did in January. You can click, if you've signed it up online, you can click this link and that will bring you to every program we've had so far this year. If you're doing this in January of next year, you just click here and it gives you a little in red letters, click previous year, and that gives you that year, what you signed up for. So signing up for it doesn't necessarily mean you attended it. So this is where the honor system kicks in and you just go through and go, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I went there. Yep, did that. And then you tally them 1 point each. Convention is not included in this total. That is further here. That is here. So a monthly program, not a convention, you would put that here. It's not just for MPPA. If you went to New Hampshire and saw one of their programs because it looked interesting to you, count it as a point. That still counts. The second way that you can see what you have done is go log in and go to your profile. And you can see right here, my event registrations, and it tells you what you signed up for forever. So that's another neat little thing that you can make sure you don't forget what programs you do.
Right. But those are the programs with MPPA. So like you mentioned before, if you went to like Mars or something, you'd have to keep track of that on your own because there's no spot to record that there.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that would go under the convention attendance, but that one in particular. But yes, if you went to like a monthly program at New Hampshire PPA, like I know you did, that's an extra point. So that's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
I keep a Google Calendar, so I always have, and I make it so it doesn't delete ever because I've done that before. But I keep Google Calendar, so I go back in my Google Calendar because I have them in a different color, everything educational or MPPA or photography wise. So that's my way of going back and looking, because I'll delete the ones that I didn't attend if I just signed up for it and added it. So that's another little way. Or you can use the point register. Yep.
Question for you, Crystal. Suppose I go to a workshop taught by a PPA Puba, a craftsman or whatever, but it's not sponsored by an affiliate. Can I still get credit for that? For instance, I went to a week-long workshop last fall, and I never put it down, but it's a 5-day workshop and it's $1,500.
Yeah, I would say definitely put that in here, and maybe just use that note section to tell me that that's what that was. Like one of them wasn't necessarily an affiliate, but I would most likely count that for you. Yes, because you're still learning and you're still growing in your business. So we're going to put that we went to all 12 months. So we have our lobster pin right there. Convention is another category here. You get 2 points for attending convention, which is at least 2 days or 3 days consecutive. So if you attend a minimum of 2 days of that convention, even if it's one class for a day, but you're there for 2 days, then that counts as 2 points total.
And that includes Imogen too. If you're a PPA member and you go to Imogen, that falls in that criteria.
If you go to New Hampshire convention, if you go to imaging, anything like that, because we're affiliated with them. definitely counts. A lot of times I go to New Hampshire and maybe past Massachusetts, so I count, so I'll get 6 points. Multi-day seminars, sometimes we do. This used to be specifically for NAEP school, which it was discontinued a number of years ago. But there are still places like Texas School, that's an affiliate school that's multi-days, like sometimes they're 5 days, sometimes they're 4 days of program, similar to a convention, but it's more, it's not a convention. Does that make sense? So Tim, for example, that class that you went to for a week, that would go here in number 3. Attendance at multi-day seminars.
Well, and on top of that, we are working on a program here in MPPA that would be a 2-day program. So that would fall in that window as well.
Correct. Yep, anything that is longer than 2 days that is not a convention goes here. And again, use this note thing just because I like to make sure that you're doing the correct amount of points, because you can enter 3 points here. And I'll be like, what do you mean? It's 2 points each. It should be an even number, right? So just use these notes and just say, I attended all these programs for MPPA. I did this convention, I did that convention, and I did this extra thing for over here in this other state. That way I know that even if you've done it wrong here, I will adjust that for you because I want you to succeed. That's part of my job that I like.
So Jen, you get 2 points for attending Mars. I get 2 points for going to photo creators. You know what I mean? So like it'll be good.
Yep.
What about like the AIBP retreat? That's 4 days.
Yeah, that would count.
Yep.
Yep.
Multi-day seminar. Yep.
Yep.
So since I'm on here, question.
Sure.
Since I didn't know about this for last year, can I submit for the previous year?
Absolutely.
Yep, you can go and do that tonight if you want to. Totally. Just make sure on that first page of this form that you put 2022. And I will definitely put that in my
So
master
Jen,
sheet for you.
let me ask you, Jen, last year, did you have enough for a lobster pin?
Probably.
Okay. Did you get a lobster pin?
No, I didn't know about this.
Well, then
Yeah.
that's why we're having this and we want to get you a lobster pin, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's great though is you still get those points towards your medallions. So even though you didn't get the lobster pin last year, it'll still count towards the medallions. And then for 2023, now you know how to fill it out. So so when we have our 2024 convention, yay.
You could have a second lobster pin because if you do this now, you'll probably get your first lobster pin and the world has gone right.
Yes.
Right? Yep. So typically if you're doing for a previous year and we've already had that banquet night and award ceremony, we do not award lobster pins after the fact, but we still use those points to go towards your medallion. But I may or may not make an exception for you, Jen. Because you didn't know and you're new. Yeah. So I'm always willing to help and always reach out and ask me questions. Right up here, it says my name and it's highlighted. That just brings you to my membership page where it has all my contact info that I update. So you can email me, you can text me, you can call me. I'm always around. You can Facebook message me if you're a friend of mine, because I may not see it if you're not. But definitely always reach out if you have a question, if you want to be like, hey, do you like me enough to give me a lobster pin even though I'm a few months late? I might. You know, I never like to say no. So
Well,
keep that in
and the
mind.
beauty is it's a voting party of one for that. So as long as you can
Yep.
sway Crystal, you got it.
Right now, I'm going to bring this up later too, but right now I am a party of one on this committee.
Yep.
And I would really love a committee member. Their job is going to be the stupid easiest job in the whole of MPPA because all I got to do is be Vanna White for me at banquet.
Yes.
Essentially, yeah, maybe check my math, but like I pour over it like 600 times, so I make sure it's all right. But yeah, all I need is somebody just to help me and be like, here's your lobster pin while I'm announcing it. That, and we just like to always have more than one committee member because you don't want me to be all like not follow the rules. I'm a rule follower, but you know. It's always nice to have that second pair of eyes too.
The accountability.
And then you could get another point for
Yes,
being on
that's
the
right.
committee.
For volunteering, you
Right.
get a point. So see, like
do.
there's ways to earn these things. So
Yep, for sure. So
mhm.
that was a very good question, and definitely enter your points for last year. We'll count them for sure for your medallions. Were you a speaker or a judge at any photographic program, even if it's just for little old now? I'm earning a point right now.
Yep.
So I'm gonna put one. That kind of thing. You can put notes here again, just say if you had a specific question like Tim did, it wasn't an affiliate, but does it count? I'll count it, just put them up in your points and just make a note there for me. Then we're gonna go back and be like 12 plus 4 is, I don't know,
16.
16, 17
17.
points. And
Now
then
we get-
write it down because you need it later.
So right there,
Remember
you
this
got
number.
17 and 2. We're at 19. So you have almost, you can only get one lobster pin a year, but you have almost
Yeah.
enough to accrue 2 if we did such a thing, which we don't.
And you never know, you might get that really cool chocolate
The
lobster.
big lobster.
Mhm.
It's worth it. It's tasty.
It's- We get those locally right at Havens Candy,
Yes,
so
they're
they
very
make the
good
best
chocolate.
chocolate. They're
Good
very, very
chocolate.
good.
Mhm.
I sometimes buy one for me every time I go there because I love it so much. All right, so here we into membership. This one is a very limited category, mainly because we want to make it a little challenging to earn those fellowship ribbons because it requires so many membership points too. So are you a member? Yes, we are. I imagine if you're filling this out, you're definitely a member. And have you had a perfect attendance? Did you go to every program the MPPA offered this year? It may or may not be a point, but you can earn 1 if you go to all of them. I'll say 0 because it's not the end of the, I don't remember what I did in 2009, do you? Did you refer a new member? Did you say, hey, friend, do you want to go with me to a program? Did they join? You get a point if they join, 2 points if they join. So I like to tell people about MPPA all the time. So say I had a friend that joined last year or that year. Oh, I got 2 points right here. Again, any notes that you want me to know about, any questions you have, just put it right here and I'll read through them. And then 1, 2, 3, easiest way to get your total right there. Make a note, we got 3 membership points. It's very difficult to get more than 3 membership points in a year, but like if we had perfect attendance, if we did all of these, it's 4, which means just 1 of those points I'll carry over to your general category. So no biggie there. All right, next page. Now we're on general points. This is the last category. We have 4 categories total. Have you served on a board or committee? And this is where you would go, or I would, because I've served as a committee member. I'm actually a chairperson. I'm a chairperson of 2 to 1. I'm on a committee and I am a chairperson on 1, so I have 3 points this year. Anything else? Like you just go in there and just find out what your jobs are and total up your points here.
And that's a big one too. I mean, we allow up to 5 points for that. So you can be very involved and get almost halfway.
You can be on 5 committees and get 5 points.
Yeah, seriously.
Totally.
Mhm.
So here is also very important, board members and committee members. Please tell me why you have this many points so I can make sure you totaled them correct. Because Rebecca, I had to add some for you.
I know, I messed them all up. So like, this is
Yeah,
why I said
so
Crystal's great, so.
Because not everybody knew to go here and figure it out. And a
Mhm.
lot of board members would just say, I'm on this many things, so it's this many points. When in fact, like a president gets 5, not
Mhm.
1.5. So just because there's multiple points in some of these areas, I like to make sure that this number matches what you actually serve for, so you get in that recognition. So that's why that little note box is right there for me. Did you host a studio? We don't really do that too often, but it's still a possibility. Did you mentor a new member? They may not have joined because of you, but if you go up and say like, hey, can I help you? Just noticing that they're new at convention or like offer to hang out or share some information, anything that you would classify as a mentor. And I call that just being friendly and sharing. You know, that's 2 points you can earn right there. Blah, blah, blah. Did you receive a distinguished colleague award? So this year, for points this year, at the end of the year, Trish can say yes, because she just earned it this year. So she would get 3 points this year. It only is for the year that you earn it, if you earn it. So I've earned one, but it's not this year. So I'm going to say 0.
Or in 2009.
This one gets tricky for a lot of our members. Becoming certified through PPA. Does everybody know what certification, certified professional photographer, is through the PPA? I'm seeing a nod. Okay, if you need me to explain that, just always reach out. I know Jeffrey Morris is a PPA, CPP, what do you call it? CPP liaison?
Liaison, yeah. It used to be
His-
him and Brenda Gieson. I'm not sure if she
Brenda,
still
yeah.
does it though.
I'm not sure if Brenda still does, but she might. Brenda Gieson, yep.
We have his
so there are
information
those,
on our website too. So if you guys
yeah,
need
you can always search a member. Right up here, find a photographer.
Yeah, under education for if you scroll down to community networks and degrees, his information's right there. So, and that's all the information about CPP and all the the liaison information. So
yeah, we'll circle back to that for sure. But yes, I just want to make sure as we're going through these that we know what I'm talking about, because some of these are PPA related.
Sure.
Did you get certified this year? Did you pass the test and get awarded your CPP certificate? That is where you would earn points in this question. I didn't this year. I have one, but I didn't earn it this year. So that's a 0. But if you were to become certified by the end of this year, you could put 2 points there. And I always double check forms because some things can be confusing. So continued compliance with certification. Every 3 years, you have to recertify, you submit a fee, you have to do so many things educationally and earn so many points for the MPPA based on which programs you attended or imaging. Just continuing your education to remain certified, and you recertify through PPA to do that. If you're on one of those 3rd years and you have gone through that process of recertifying, that's where you would earn 1 point. If it's just like, say you earned your CPP this year, next year you can't get a point there. You have to wait till you actually renew it. So that part can get tricky sometimes for some people. So we're going to stay 0 there because I did not renew this year. Did you earn a PPA degree? So this whole awards program was mirrored to kind of be a fun way to recognize our members. But it was mirrored from, where did I put it? This one. It was mirrored from the, oh no, this one. So the degree program with PPA. So there's a number of ways you can earn merits with PPA. We call them points just to specify because they are different and they're for our organization for the awards program we have. PPA earns you merits. You can do them basically the same way. You speak, you serve, you submit your images to competition, all sorts of things like that. And it explains here on their website. I don't remember how I found this. I think I searched it,
And
but
in
you can
case
find it.
And in case you're
Up in
wondering, because I'm
here.
not sure if everyone knows what PPA is, as it says there, it's Professional Photographers of America. And for years, we were called an affiliate. They don't call it affiliate anymore, right? They changed the lingo to make it more
Yeah, community network.
community network now.
it's
Probably
the same thing.
It is.
It is.
I
It's
think-
like it hasn't changed. It's just a different terminology.
I think for legal reasons, they just want to remove themselves from other states so that if a state gets in trouble, they don't get roped in as well. But you do not get this with an MPPA membership. This is a separate entity that you have to pay to be a
Yes.
member as well. But
Yeah,
like,
they
like
have
Chris
their own
said,
membership.
like what Crystal said though, we kind of molded ourselves after that. And when we spoke of Imogen, like we have our annual convention. Imogen is the PPA convention in which there are chapters, I guess that's the best way, in every state or almost every state. And they collectively get together once a year at this Imogen convention. And they do this big hoopla. If you've never done it, it's a great time, great way to network. And that's when they, in addition to getting some amazing education, award all these things out to people as well.
So you can definitely check out their website, ppa.com, if you have any questions regarding that. They explain their education, the benefits of membership, the different degrees you can earn. You can track your merits with your account here if you're a member with them, that kind of thing. So the degrees.
Just to further, oh, sorry, just to further
Yeah.
clarify. So when we're talking about as the main PPA, when we're hosting what's considered a merit class, like a one-day workshop, this is what we mean by that. So it qualifies you for one merit towards your PPA degree. So you not only get statewide recognition through the main PPA, but it gets you a merit towards your professional degree with the PPA. So that's why those merit classes are like so beefy and important, because they get you that degree. So not only statewide, but nationally. So anyway, just for further clarification, because I think that some people are like, I have no idea what's the difference. So.
And then to even piggyback on that more, given we're talking about PPA merit classes, they have strict guidelines in which makes it a PPA merit class. It has to be over like 6 hours, right? So you're wondering like, why can't I get a PPA merit class for this? Because it's a 2-hour class. Like they have guidelines in which we need to follow. And honestly, it costs main PPA money every time we give you a PPA merit by attending a class. That's why those classes may cost a little more money, because we're dipping in. Say there's 15 people that they all attend, you all get a PPA merit, and MPPA is paying for all those merits to be distributed to you. So they're a little beefier in the overall program, and it's a little costlier as well, because there is an overall cost to do that for you.
We also give merits for attending convention. We give PPA merits, and that also costs us money too. So we just want you guys to know, like we try and keep it as cost effective as possible, but we do have to sometimes set a price according to that. So yeah,
because I think is it $10 a person for PPA merit? So if we have a class, and sometimes we cap it because you could have 30 people and that could bankrupt somebody. But we might have like 15, 16 people. And if it's 15 people and it's $10 a piece, like that adds up quickly.
Plus the credit card fees,
right?
You know, like there's so much that is behind the scenes. So when we're charging $100 for a class, that's not money in our pocket. That's money to pay the instructor and all these other little fees that you don't know about. So I think that that's also really important to note. We spent over $400 on fees for convention alone, for PPA. So plus the credit card fees. So it's like, it's just, it all adds up. So we try and make it as affordable as possible, but we also have to consider those costs that are added in. So
like you as a photographer, and like, oh wow, your prices may be high, and you know that there's so many costs associated with you doing a photo shoot. Same thing with our programming. So unfortunately, you can't escape it.
Yep.
All right, Crystal, sorry. Back to you.
Yep. No problem. So these are some of the PPA degrees. They may have added 1 or 2 since we did this page, but those are just the degrees they offer, and you can find more information on their site. I don't know if that link still works. I was curious. Yeah, it does. All right.
I updated it all this year when they changed all the community network stuff. I know. Well, I was like, crap, now I have to fix the website.
We try to make it easy for our members.
Yeah.
So these are just their degrees you can earn with their merit system. There are members like myself that you can ask if you are too intimidated to contact the PPA, but essentially our awards and recognition program mirrors this. So it's like a baby step to get to the national level per se. We just try to make it fun.
Can you scroll up just a little bit for a second? because I want to show the other community networks. So in addition to MPPA, we have a really healthy relationship with the other PPA community networks, whatever we want to call them, in New England. And all those programs usually, all those associations often have like monthly programs that you can attend for usually a fee. So if you're not finding what you want, hopefully you are with us. But if not, there's a lot of education going on right around you that is within a 2-3 hours drive. And by clicking on those links there, I believe they bring you to their page. Is that what those hyperlinks do?
They do.
should.
And some of them are doing some hybrid programming like we are. So that's really nice too. I know Vermont has done some online classes. So why not dip into that? You not only earn points, but you learn. So, and it's cheap. So
Yeah, and often like if a great talent comes to New Hampshire and it's going there in May, and we typically won't have that same talent come right here because they were just there, but we sometimes will make our members aware of it, going, oh my God, like Peter Hurley is going to New Hampshire. You might want to go there because we don't see ourselves bringing him here this year. But you can go there, and because you're often, if you're an affiliate or if you're a PPA member, you get in there at a discounted rate if you're not a member. So there's so many perks. And if you reach out to anybody on the board or Crystal, like we will try to point you in that direction. We want to help you get as much education as possible.
And Nick, this is Wayne Flanagan. I'm actually the president of New Hampshire this
Yes,
year.
Wayne
I
was-
just
Hey,
want-
Yeah, you popped in for our convention this year. That was great.
I
Yes.
did. And I just wanted to say thanks for that. And to just pass on to all of you folks, I'm enjoying your program tonight. So thank you very, very much, because we're trying to up our game a little bit, and you folks are leading the way pretty well. So absolutely great program, and I'm enjoying it. And thanks for the, links back and so forth to us.
Yeah,
Yes,
happy to have you here, Wayne.
we love our neighbors, Wayne. So it's great that you're attending today. Thank you.
I'll mute again.
I'll see you soon. You have a speaker coming to your state, and I'm trying to get her to our state as well. So I may see you sooner than you believe.
Is that Shannon?
It
Sorry to
is.
go off track. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to her
Tell
today.
me
Yep.
and I can help you out with that. We just signed her.
Yeah, she told me. She wrote to me and told me. So we'll talk about that offline here. But I'm excited that she's coming to our neighborhood. She's an amazing talent.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
No problem.
Thanks, Wayne.
All right, so back to this general category here. If you're on a board or a committee, list those service positions. So I know you've tallied that correctly, because I'm always here to help you guys. If you hosted, where were we? Did
Yeah,
we
right at
finish
the
all
bottom.
these?
Yep.
PPA degree, that's where we were. All right, so if you earned any of those degrees in the calendar year you're submitting this points form for, I've listed them here, but sometimes they add some. So, you're probably aware if you've earned one and gone to imaging and gotten your medallion with them. So that's there for you. You get 5 points per degree because they are pretty nice to get. And here, because it's a general category, you can make up your own points if you want to. Just tell me what you think you deserve a point for, and I will consider it, or the committee will. I'm a committee of one. So
So what you're
you can
telling
definitely
me,
consider anything that you haven't seen already on this form. If you feel like maybe this could be a point, just let me know. Just say, hey, here you go. And I'll just decide how many points and if those are point worthy.
so what you're telling me, Crystal, is even with this last category here, if you don't have a lobster pin, it might be your own fault at this point. Like we really, really want you to have a lobster pin. So this is a category.
It's really easy to
Yeah.
do 12 points if you just show up to programs and you're a member and you maybe want to help out behind the scenes, but you don't have to even help out behind the scenes to get your lobster pin. That's the beauty of it.
Right.
We'd like your help though.
Yep. So yeah, so again, if you feel like you're at 11 points, let's say you're at 11 points and you're like, I didn't see that on this form, I wonder. And you could just say, hey, I did this thing this year, what do you think? And I'll let you know. And maybe you get an extra point, you never know. And again, just like things that you might want to explain or descriptions or any questions for me, you can enter right here. And then we're going to do some math. I don't think there's a whole lot in here. 3 points for serving. And here, so 3 points for general. And then we're going to hit next. And scroll up because sometimes you need to. All right, so here's where you're gonna use those notes. I hope you guys were paying attention because I have no idea. I'm gonna make up a number if you weren't paying attention.
I tallied
What is the
25.
total of those
25?
25?
25
points. From each, you should have 4 numbers written down, and that's the total of those 4 categories here for image, education, membership, and general. So you have 25 points, and that tells you, hey, if you've got more than 12, you got a lobster pin, because we get excited about that. So all you got to do is hit the checkbox because there's a little red star that says you have to, and it's just basically saying, I'm honest and I did this to the best of my knowledge, and these are my points. And then you just say, send it to me, and then you should get an email. I'm gonna check my email. You should get an email saying you did it.
There it is.
Thanks for filling it out. There's my point summary. So you can file that in your inbox or wherever, wherever you want to put it. So you can keep it on hand, or put it in your points registry so you can have an idea of how close you are to earning those medallions.
And when you're not teaching a class, this process goes a lot quicker.
Yeah, so it's really easy. All you got to do is just know what you did, guess sometimes, but write me a note and say, I'm not sure, but there it is. And then submit it. And then if you forgot to do it the last year, just submit it again. That's that easy. And just tell me what year. Any questions?
So let me
Awesome.
ask this question here then. Are
Sure.
there awards that you can get with MPPA besides a merit class that carries over to PPA if you're a PPA member?
They don't carry over to PPA, but they can definitely be doubled up. So for instance, if you serve as a president of the MPPA, you get a merit for that. But you also get points. So you can kind of like put them in both places
Mhm.
and get double the rewards.
Right.
So nothing we do here is ever submitted to PPA. That's something that you would have to, or whoever dillies out the merits from the board would have to allocate those to you, and that just goes to your PPA account.
Another thing that you can earn merits for is if you host a class. So like if you put on a PPA workshop class, you do all the coordinating and everything, you can be considered the chairperson for that class, and that gives you a merit as well. So even if you don't teach
convention chairperson
convention
gets
does.
merits.
Yeah.
If you want to speak, like, I don't know, today would be merit worthy for me, but if I was to put on a program and say, this is all I know in Lightroom, and give it a good 2 hours, that would be a merit. If you're a PPA member, you have to be a PPM member to earn their merits.
Right.
Mhm.
So when we say this is a merit class, but you're not a PPA member, even though you are entitled to one, because you're not a member, we can't award you one, and you can't save them for
Right.
all these from past years. Now you become a member, now you can like utilize them. It has to be why you're an active member.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and also a point of clarity on what Crystal was saying too. PPA did away with Zoom class merit credit. So unless it's in person now, they won't do it. They did it for like 2 years because of COVID, but then like, you know what? We want to bring people back together. So now it has to be a long class in front of people, real people, to get those
know.
PPA merits.
I have enough service merits to get both of my degrees, the master's and the craftsman, had I entered print competition or spoken at anything. This is not my most comfortable place to be, so I haven't earned those yet.
So any general questions
yeah.
about the point system, anybody? Okay.
Cool,
How
means I
about,
did my job.
How about this? I mean, and maybe we can share skills now, because I know this is kind of leaving some of your stuff, but say there's a class that is listed, and if you're a member and you're not familiar with our website, but where can we go to see the upcoming classes that may be listed? I know we don't have a lot listed right now, but can we go to our website on the main PPA and show them that they cycle through? Like, here we go.
Yeah, past events are here.
Yep.
Upcoming events are here. And that's just under education and monthly program and events.
Right. So for instance, we have a class here, the one on top there, the wedding timeline building. It has the date, time, you can register. This one is free for members, I believe, because I don't see
Yes.
if you
it's
click
free.
on the picture, does it show the whole ad?
Yeah.
This so they can see the whole thing. There we go. See, so it says right there, free for members or $35 for the public. So if someone from New Hampshire wanted to come, $35 for them, or even somebody coming in off the street.
Mhm.
And all our programs, we try to get it up a couple weeks, sometimes as volunteers, and we're all volunteers on the board. We have our own business, we have families, we have children, we have other jobs. We try to be as punctual as possible in getting these programs up as fast as I guess possible. This is a bad example of this class here, because this one, even though we talked about it, we only advertised this recently because like, you know what, we should probably do this and do it sooner than later before we do like 4 or 5 programs and people are missing opportunities to attend these classes and get points. So we jumped the gun a little bit here and got ads made up for this class that we're currently in so that we could educate you all on these upcoming classes like this one with Lauren and how you can get points for that class. And when you click on register, can you just do an example there in case someone has never
Sure.
done that?
So I'm logged in, so it's gonna know my information, but if you're not logged in and you're a member, you want to do that first. Or you can just do it as a non-member. Put your email there. You're gonna check off, of course, if you're a member, you're gonna have that option. If you're not logged in, it'll be grayed out. So if you're a member, you definitely want to do that. Then you just click next, make sure all that information is there. If
Now
it's
you
a
can
PPA
prank, now you can
class,
prank Crystal because her number's right there.
yeah. If it's a PPA class, there would be a box here to give your PPA membership number, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
And this is new, but that's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, I need to put, I don't consent as well. Sorry. I forgot to put
Or make
the,
it,
the
or make
opt-out.
it not required, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Like I have to put either both options. Anyway, I was following the instructions based on it. We may start doing text message things. I don't know. It costs money, so we'll see.
Mhm.
So,
And then you can choose to be anonymous, or you can choose to say, hey, I'm going, so your friends will know you're there. And then you hit next. And here's where you just review it. You would pay if you're paying on the next screen. And then there's this little handy thing that I love that you can add it to your calendar. Super quick and easy. You just do that and save, and it's on your look at my colorful calendar. I don't even know what that day was, but it should be there somewhere. What day was that?
10th.
Yeah.
The 10th.
There's
August 10th.
wedding timeline building.
There we
and
go.
stuff. Yeah.
There's my event right there. So that's cool. That's kind of cool.
Beautiful. And I'm assuming everyone here went about this process. That's how they're here today. Otherwise, they defied all laws and gravity and found their way
Yeah.
here without doing this. But at
This
least
is
this
us right
is how you do it.
here. Yep.
Yay.
Look at all 27 of them that didn't show up. But they can watch
Well,
it later and it still
I think-
counts as a membership point or an educational point.
And let me just piggyback on that. So say you didn't attend today, or even you did attend today. What this does is it goes to the cloud, and then the people behind the curtains, they take this recording, they filter into the system, and then you get an email with this recording so that you can watch it. So that's how you get it. In case people are like wondering, like, oh, I missed that class. Well, as long as you register, you will get this email with the link to watch that video. And this will go in the archive. Some classes, they have like a timeline, like it'll be available for 30 days because these educators make money on doing the circuit. And if we keep it up there forever, then we're actually hindering them making money in the future. But a class like this, which is more educational, we want everyone to be more comfortable with our services and our platform. We're going to keep it up there so that new members can come on a rainy day, watch this video, because I know they want to. And so hello, if you're just watching, and then be more educated about how the process works.
We should add that link right here in the membership area.
That's exactly what I plan to do. It'll be a
Cool.
link under there. Crystal, do you mind just pulling up the member benefits guide real quick?
Of course.
Just so that people can see at a glance other things that we offer. there's some great, on the right side, there's the resources, discounts, and prizes. And these are specific things that we have catered towards our members. So we've actually sought these discounts out for you. And please take advantage of them. Some of the people are sponsors for convention. Other people have just been super generous, like other photographers, allowing for a discounted studio rental rate, things like that. Like, just take a peek at it. It's in your member benefits area. And we also have things like a small business advisor, and just really great resources to take advantage of, and completely free to you or for very little money. So yeah,
Very
I just wanted to
cool.
point
I
that
didn't know
out.
that. I learned something today.
See?
Well, and
Very
Nathan,
cool.
Nathan asked in the text message, I wanted to get to that,
Yes.
but I was waiting for a time. So ultimately, our purpose is to create wonderful art for our clients. How does the lobster pin benefit my clients? I wonder if we might talk a little bit more about that, and the MPPA membership will help us grow our business. In 40 years, I've only had one client ask if I'm a PPA member. So it would be helpful if you could discuss how MPPA memberships help me. So one of the ways, in addition to creating a network and bringing you education, is this page here, how it helps you directly. Saving money is important to me. So when you're dealing with even like Evolve Edits, I'm not sure if you've used Evolve Edits, or maybe
I have.
I have. I actively use it, but that there is saving you 2 months, and it helps you helps you edit an entire wedding and lickety splat. Like it could take hours and hours. And I started using that. I'm like, wow, this streamlines my workflow. And then in addition to this, renting a lens from Lens Rentals. I mean, that's no cheap fee either. If I want to borrow like a 600 millimeter lens for the weekend, that could be a couple $100. And there's
It adds up.
this here. And in addition, when you come to convention, sometimes our sponsors give us additional things as well. Not only that you can raffle off, we raffle and you can go and you basically place bids for them. But sometimes just in our care package, there may be discounts right in there where you benefit as well. And it's funny, but people may not know what MPPA is, but I usually, when I talk to clients, especially when I'm doing corporate headshots and stuff, I share with them that I'm part of MPPA, Maine Professional Photographers, Association. And just having that name, it kind of gives you a little bit of clout of rapport, and just oh, he's involved. He knows what he's doing. He's not just winging this. He has a network of people here to help make him successful. And it really does go a long way, like the Better Business Bureau. I mean, you want to be part of that if you're a small business. This is just one of those little, you can check the box, and it just makes you more credible with your clients and potentially even models when you're working with models.
If I could chime in too, our awards program is basically it incentivizes being more an involved member, because you can join a thing and not really be involved or have much ambition to attend things, and maybe you won't get a lot out of it. But the cornerstones of our membership is competition with prints, membership and fellowship, and the education and service, which is in our general category. So with those 4 areas of our 4 corners, that is a really easy way to kind of have a reward for getting more involved in things. If you want to join a committee, you get a lot. I would not be where I am as a photographer had I not joined that first committee in 2009. I would not be where I am today. I would not be a CPP. I would not be a distinguished colleague. I would not be as skilled as a photographer had I not been involved, because being involved kind of makes you attend the classes and listen to the classes and become more knowledgeable, which definitely helps you excel as a photographer and in your business.
And
so
Jack,
that little lobster pin can do a whole lot just by making you want it.
Right. Jack, so you with us? Can you share your camera? I'm not sure if you're with us or not. You might be away, but if Jax is there, which he may. Oh,
he's over there.
There he is. So I had Jack show his face for a second, because Jack is actually head of the committee for the programming this year. So if you have an idea for a program, or you want to know what's coming up, or maybe you just really want this speaker, you can talk to anybody on the board, but Jack's is actually the guy who actually oversees that committee. So talk to that guy there with the headset on, that handsome looking man over there. And he's the one, like I said, he's the one responsible in part. There's a whole committee behind him, but he's the basically the chairperson who's overseeing that we get proper education to the state of Maine for this year. And then most of the board members here were all part of the convention committee. There's many committees. If you want to be involved, there's enough committees to house everybody, right? Like we all wear
Be
multiple
Vanna
hats.
White for me.
Yeah. So, and then Crystal really wants a friend. So we need to find her a friend this year. But the point,
Stacy.
but the point, well, Stacy, I mean, Stacy's
I
there
know
too, but-
I know she's in scholarship committee, but she's the math person. She might really enjoy the point system and everything. So I don't
And
know. Anyway,
It's
I
really
love
the
you.
easiest role you can get if you
Yeah.
want to be involved, just a teeny bit.
just a teeny bit. And we're not doing the shameless plug here, but really we are as strong as our community. So the more people we have involved in our group, the less burnout we get. Back a couple years ago, there was like the same 6-7 people wearing every single hat. And we were like 35 members strong. And now we're over 100. So we've grown substantially in the last couple years, which is a huge thing because many affiliates are struggling with the growth. So we're really trying to be on the foreground of that and make sure that we don't fall behind. And that all becomes on how strong, that all stays basically on how strong we stay as a community. So the more we are involved, the more we volunteer, the more we talk to people like Jax to make sure we're getting the program that keeps you interested in being a member. We just want to make sure that that avenue is never closed, which is another reason why we're doing this program today, to show you have many, many different outlets to talk to us to make sure that we are providing you what you want to get out of this organization. So thank you, Jax, for showing your face for a second. And he's up in Bangor. That's why he did the axe throwing thing up there. So he brought it back to his hometown so they could have a, in the past, there's been people complaining that we didn't go north enough. And now we have members up, and I don't know where Janet lives now, but she's up in like Mars Hill or wherever she is. But
I think we have somebody in the Presque Isle area. Janet now lives in Connecticut, but it's like this still the idea is
she's in
that
Connecticut doing the jump thing, the sky
yeah,
jump. Yeah.
But what's great is like we're able to involve everyone, especially with the hybrid programming. We've also brought programs further north. We had like a one-day workshop in Oakland recently, like last fall. We're trying to, it's not just the Portland area. So we're totally aware that we have a massive state and we have photographers all over our state. So if you guys have ideas for programs too in other areas that we aren't reaching, please like talk to Jax, talk to me, talk to Nick, talk to any of us. And we'd love to make something happen. We just need help. So yeah.
To piggyback off a little bit there.
Mhm.
Not only are we able to reach across the state, one of our goals is to have a reach across the state. You know,
Mhm.
like she was saying, a lot of people were discouraged from joining because most of the activity was down south. Part of that problem was twofold with the leadership and the membership. You know, so it's definitely a community thing. It's going to take us as leaders, and it's going to take you as members and community members to kind of just help us make this a statewide reach.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like I said, I think we've gone leap and bounds from where we were a couple years ago, and some of that we thank COVID, because COVID brought us to this way of communicating with people. So even though we were all sheltered, it opened up a lot of doors. And like, you know, when we open these doors back up, which we did, we're like, we want to keep this as a vital part of what we do because it allows us to stay as a strong network. And I think we all benefit from that. So, but yeah, anyway, if you have programming, Jack's the man. Anybody here, just if you're not getting what you need, then it could be your fault. It's easy just to reach out to us, and we want to help you get what you want. It may not be this year, but it'll definitely be put on the list, and we will attack it as soon as we can. There is a comment here that Stacy Knapp is willing to be your Vanna, Crystal. So you may already,
I hired her.
Yeah.
I hired her already.
yeah. So maybe
Sorry.
secretly, maybe we held this whole meeting just to get you an assistant.
Totally. That's why I agreed. You know it.
Success. So in regards to Stacy, then she received 1 point for attending the class, 1 point for being a member, and now 1 point for being Vanna White. So
And also for being on the scholarship committee, because she's now part of
Yep.
that too,
she is
so.
part of that. So
Yeah.
again, that's 4 quick points just for, you know,
You're already a third of the way there, Stacy.
Mhm.
so. Is there any general questions about MPPA as a whole that we've missed that maybe people have questions about? Stacy's clapping for herself.
Yes.
Any questions at all? Come on, challenge us, guys. Nothing. All right.
Question.
All right,
Okay.
Stacy. Now
Um,
that we've talked you up to talking.
yeah. Look, and I know that there are 2 different places that events are listed that can be used for points. I think that they're listed officially in one place. But I could see, at least I got confused last year, where there's the list of programs and past programs, and I kind of went through that list, and there are things on there that don't count, I think, because they're double counting. Like the awards banquet is listed as a separate line item.
Oh,
The
yeah.
image competition is listed as a separate line item. And so I could see where that might be a little bit confusing. I assume those are not on the actual calendar. Like when you're filling out the form, I remember last year thinking I knew what I was doing, and then I clicked on that and there were different events in the actual official calendar. So just throwing that out there.
Yep.
I don't know
No, that's a very
what
good
the
question.
resolution
It's
would
very-
be, but
Maybe
very
we
good
should
question.
make those point things. Like if you attend the awards banquet, you should get a point because you're participating. And then maybe if you attend image comp, you get a point. I mean, what are your thoughts? I think
Well,
we
you
should
get,
make those
so
points. Yeah,
my opinion as chair of this committee,
go for it.
I think banquet can definitely count as an educational program. I think that that is something that you have to sign up for separately, and you still could get a lot out of it just looking at the awards that are won, the things that are said that night. I think that's very important, and you're also networking there too. So banquet can count as an educational point for a program. Print competition does not, because it's not necessarily a program that you attend, but you get all of those points in your image category already. So that's definitely included, just not in the education portion. And then convention is separate from the programs because there's another line item for that in the education category.
I
So
wonder,
very good question, Stacy. That's just how we
Yeah.
separate them out.
given that we are discussing with this committee of one, we have all the powers in the room. If image competition couldn't be receiving a parent, because we talk about education.
Yeah.
And if you actually watch image competition, where all the judges speak about each piece,
True.
you're gaining so much knowledge just on the general art that
Even
that
if you
You have a
don't.
very valid point, Mr. President,
Yes.
well,
or past president.
Yes.
Past president. I know. We don't want to put you back in that seat.
Chantel's not here, so I'm just going to take it. I'm the president right now. There it is.
and that would
I am making a note.
that might encourage people to participate. So you get a point for participating, but say you're too scared to participate. If you at least watch, that might get your feet wet.
Yep.
I
will
have
say-
made a note, and I will make sure that banquet and print competition is listed as one of those education points that you can
I
earn.
think those are great.
That's awesome. And I will
Yeah.
say that one of the best things that has helped my art change is actually watching. I joined printcompetition.com, and you can watch all these different competitions throughout the different PPA networks. And I have learned so many errors that I've done, like, oh, wow, I never noticed that. And when you hear the judges talking about it, and they're all accredited judges, right? These guys have the CPP that we talked about earlier. They all have that background. And to hear that, you're like, oh, wow, I can apply that now to my work. And it's some of the best education I've ever received. I'm not sure if everybody else feels that way, but I'm a different photographer because of image competition.
Mhm.
So, and now we get, maybe we
see-
can get credit for it.
Yeah, Stacy, you already have some, like, put your input into this committee already. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So again, before we wrap up, is there any, because we want to keep this nice and light, we went on for about an hour and a half, which is actually longer than I thought we would go. So that's awesome. Is there any other pressing issues with MPPA that people want to discuss before we close the door?
Looks like Tim raised his hand. Oh, I think you're muted.
Yeah, thank you. This is the old vlog up north, speaking. participation is measured by moose or lobsters or medallions. But we're all business people. And the investment of our time in an association like this comes to a great degree with some expectation of return on that investment. I've long been told this business and another one I was in prior to it, that the more involved you become, the more you get out of it. You can sign up for a Chamber of Commerce and go eat some hors d'oeuvres, but if you don't do anything, it doesn't do you any good. If you go to a MPPA event but don't meet anyone, don't really look at print comp, you don't learn anything that can help your business or your artistic skills. So the expectation, I think, should be encouraged to, come join. But, and I've told people this, if you aren't going to contribute and participate, don't join. It's not worth your time. And I think that's something that, at risk of sounding like the old dog, we need to tell newer members who aren't used to us. You're not gonna bite, we're not bad people. But the association is very definitely a two-way street. And you get absolutely get out of it, which put into it. I'm a million years old here. I have actually printed from glass plates, as well as film and now digital. But the business is really still the same. It's what can you learn? What can you do for your customers? How can you teach and pay it forward? I don't have to join MPPA anymore, but I enjoy your company. I enjoy learning new things. And mostly I enjoy bothering Crystal.
I enjoy you right back, Tim. And I agree 100%. You only get what you put into it, for sure. I like to think of the awards and recognition program as a little carrot that entices you to the rewards, but the real reward is being involved and learning a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I don't mean to be okay about this thing. It's just, let's make a fun thing and a positive thing to do for all of us.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And this week.
No, I like totally agree with you. I would not be in where I am in my business if it wasn't for everyone here. Especially Nick and Stacy has been wonderful this past year too. I mean, like Jax, like everyone that I've been talking with, been super supportive. And I mean, I even met Natalie and we're opening up a studio together. Like, had you told me that 6 months ago, I would have been like, you're nuts. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just these things that I never thought would ever happen, but it's because of this community and it's because of the dedication of the people who have been involved with this community. And I'm just super grateful and appreciative. So come join, get involved. Like, let's go have some fun together. Like, it's also fun. It's not just like, hey, like we're learning a bunch of stuff. It's like, we actually like love each other and we grow together and we watch each other's kids. So no, not Nick.
No one loves
not
me.
Nick.
Nobody wants me.
So,
well, Nick is probably the only person who could have talked me into putting myself on the spot tonight. So kudos to you, Nick.
It's a smile.
And you did
That's all it
great,
is.
Crystal. You did great, Crystal. Thank you so much, Crystal, for your
Thank you.
for going over this. So
Well, Crystal,
Absolutely. No, it's my
I
pleasure.
remember another event where you put yourself in the eye of everybody. down Commercial Street.
Tim's
Yes.
digging into the way back now.
Yeah, the way
Oh
back.
yeah, I was a model once upon
Oh,
a time.
for one of the
Yeah.
classes? Oh, that's awesome.
For like a boudoir almost kind of thing, actually. too.
Wow,
So,
all right.
like,
Wow.
Go girl.
Yeah.
Many
put
talents.
myself out there.
And
Good for
then
you.
something we haven't addressed too, which is it's really big nowadays. I'm not a big social media guru, or I prefer calling somebody up on the phone. However, when you're a member, you get the benefit of joining the several we have of like the main photography community on Facebook. And the great thing about that is that we'll have people just go like, oh, I need to shoot somebody in Casco Bay. They want mountains. Any ideas? And instead of you trolling through Google Pictures, people will chime in because people are always checking these boards. And they will, oh, there's a great place here. There's a great place here. My uncle owns this property here. Just let him know you're coming. Or I need a second shooter for this wedding in August. Like, can someone help out? Like that one resource alone, I think, has helped bridge so many people together and made their business endeavors a little more or a little less challenging, because now you feel like you're not doing it alone. So if you're not part of those communities, go out there and find them. I think there's 2 or 3 of them. I can't even keep track. And then we have
Right. We have the
board
main,
ones as well,
yeah,
like-
we have the main PPA community, and the link to that's under your member page, the member benefits page. So we have that specifically, but there's other ones out there. If you need direction towards that, we can invite you to them, so that way you get them. But that one in particular is one specifically for us, and it's used a lot. Like,
yeah. Or
it's
just
all the announcements are on there, everything. So
just recently, like somebody was asking, like, oh, I need to shoot in Acadia. Where should I go? What time of day? And like 3 or 4 people had chimed in. I think there was even a Zoom call. Like we really, as this community, we really go out of our way to help each other out, because you can look at everyone as a competitor and then live in a closed door and live a small circled life when you feel like the world's against you. Or you can just let your guard down a little bit and know that we're actually here to help lift everybody up. And I think that is another way that online community really helps people grow and flourish as an entrepreneur.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, again, it's 8:38. So I think we're going to call this a day. But if you have any other questions, please write to any of us on the board or even a member who's been here for a while. If you want to join any committees, again, reach out to us and we'll start the track to put you in a path where that can be possible. And to close up, Crystal, thank you again for stepping up today and doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
Yay.
I appreciate you doing that. I think it's a great wealth of knowledge that we get to share with our members. And again, this will go in the archives, apparently under the link for the members that Rebecca's going to drop this to. So people can always revisit then. But anyway, I hope you all have a great night, have a great summer, and we hope to catch you at our next programmed event. All right, guys.
Crystal, can you give me a call?
All right.
Yeah.
What's me?
Crystal, will you give me a call, please?
Sure. Yeah.
At your convenience.
He's looking for a date night
Okay.
now. Here we go. Tim is not that type of group. All right, guys, have a great night.
We'll see you all soon.
Peace, love.
Bye.